with its gleaming aluminum-covered dome mirroring the sky. Aside from being visually stunning, the 65-foot-high dome was a technological marvel, the first of its size to be held aloft by pressure vessel construction, which basically inflated it from within. The 188-foot span consisted of welded sheets of steel a mere 3/8 of an inch thick. In relation to its total area, as thin as 1/30th of an eggshell. Given an advance look at the facility, Architectural Digest pronounced it an architectural feat that may be unique in our time. As it turned out, the fancy picnic had to be moved under a huge tent because of the weather. A stiff, cold wind and an intermittent drizzle that weather forecasters warned might turn into a full-blown thunderstorm before the day was out. Luckily, however, the rain failed to arrive as predicted, and shortly before noon, the guests began filing into the open, drafty bleachers that had been set up on the west side of the lake opposite the engineering buildings. Bundled against the chill in overcoats, hats, and gloves, the assemblage represented a sizable portion of America's post-World War II brain trust. Wall Street bankers, CEOs of manufacturing firms, presidents of universities, deans of engineering schools, scientists, inventors, architects, philanthropists, government officials, notably Secretary of Defense Charles E. Wilson, a former president of GM, and senior officers from all branches of the military, including the Vice Commander of the Strategic Air Command, the Chief of the Navy's Bureau of Ordnance, and the Army's Chief of Research and Development. Typically for the time, almost all were men. It was nearly impossible to find a female face in the crowd. After Cronkite explained the wonders of the new closed-circuit TV technology, a military band played the Star-Spangled Banner, and 4 F-86 Sabre jets executed a screaming low-level flyover, punctuated by the detonation of an aerial bomb. Harlow Curtis, the GM president and CEO, stepped to the podium and declared, "We have gathered here today for a momentous occasion." That wasn't exactly true. The Tech Center, with its 4,000 scientists, engineers, technicians, and designers, had been operational for more than 6 months, so the occasion was really an elaborate bit of public relations. But the moment was indeed significant. As the sun began to peek through the clouds that November-like day in May, America was at its apex, the dominant military, economic, and social force on Earth. General Motors reigned as the most successful company in the history of business. Detroit was the manufacturing capital of the world, and home to the industry that directly or indirectly employed 1 in 6 Americans. No industry has contributed more to our nation's growth and development than the automobile industry, Curtis said. Its product has completely changed the face of America and the lives of all Americans. Curtis's preeminence on the program was made possible by the retirement the month before of Alfred P. Sloan, Jr., who had headed GM for 33 years and whose organizational brilliance was universally credited with shaping the company into a global colossus. The Tech Center had been Sloan's idea. He was sitting a few feet away from Curtis, but had chosen not to speak. Charles F. Kettering, GM's vice president and director of research from 1920 until his retirement in 1947, followed Curtis to the speaker's stand. Now nearing 80, Boss Kett, as he was affectionately referred to around the company, was a legend in the auto industry. A scientist, engineering genius, and inveterate inventor with more than 140 separate patents in his name, he revolutionized the car business in 1912, when his electronic starter replaced the old arm-busting crank starter, which had served as a barrier to women becoming independent drivers. Sloan and Kettering had built GM together, had grown rich and become philanthropists together, founding the Sloan-Kettering Institute for Cancer Research in 1945. They had also planned the Tech Center together, beginning in the years before the war. But in a rare divergence, they ended up disagreeing strongly about how it should look. Kettering thought most of what